Hey there, so this is part two of, uh, I guess, what I'm playing, recent pickups since a year ago. And in the first part, I covered some of the games that I'm currently working on, some of the games that I just picked up, and some of the games that I finished and thought were pretty good. There's a slew of games that I'm not going to talk about because they just either weren't that big in my mind or I haven't started playing them and it's not really worth talking about. So here are most all of these, except for two, are games that I've actually finished. And one of them I've already kind of talked about, so I'm going to skip that. And I'm going to skip that one too, because it's not that important. A little while ago I picked up Vanquish. Third person, you're this guy in a suit, basically. A lot of fun. Played it on the hardest difficulty. Just had a lot of fun with this. I think one of my coworkers had played this on the 360 and had fun with it, and then another former coworker had played it on the PlayStation 3, also had fun with it, told me about it. He didn't finish it, but I did, and Vanquish, should be able to find it cheap, I would think, by now. A lot of fun. And one thing I noticed, and I might have talked about this at a further point, and I started noticing it around Resonance of Fate when I started playing those. I picked up a lot of games by Sega over the last year, 2 years. So I gotta say, the best thing Sega ever did was stop making consoles and start making video games for all the systems. I'm just gonna say that. That's my statement, because I had a whole heck of a lot of fun playing Sega games. And one of the really cool games that I'm going to talk about is also done by Sega. So, a little bit of foreshadowing there. Sly Cooper Collection. I never played this for the PlayStation 2. It was pretty cheap, $27 plus or minus whatever the discount is at GameStop. Honestly, one of the things that I kind of liked about this was there's 3 platinums, and supposedly they weren't very hard, and people said, the games are pretty fun, the first couple are not as enjoyable, or they kind of grew a little bit on how they did these. I played through the first and second one. I started the third one and got sick of it, just because it's the same old, same old. But, a handful of months, I'll probably go back and finish this. Pretty enjoyable, Sly Collection. I don't know whether it's worth playing if you... Oh, and it comes with a 3, but then it comes with another one, which uses the Move or the DualShock, and I don't know, they're kind of a waste of time. They're easy trophies, and that's about it, in my opinion. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. I picked up the PlayStation 3 bundle because I had done some freelance work, and had some extra money. And my PlayStation 3 is still the original one that does the backwards compatibility. Don't want to lose that. So I figured it's a great deal to get this. I got another controller. I got, in addition to the PlayStation 3, so I figured it's okay. And a 250 gigabyte hard drive, or 500 gigabyte, however big. Might have been 250, or 3. Anyways, 360 maybe. Anyways, it was a great deal, so I picked it up, and sadly, I didn't finish it for months. It just wasn't as good as Uncharted 2, in my opinion. It was still a beautiful game. There was a couple points where they dropped characters, and it's like, why did they drop characters? And then I, did a little research after I finished the game online, and they said, because they mentioned this. Well, that didn't really, these are these are treasure hunters, and somebody breaks a leg and they're done. Slight spoiler, sorry. So yeah, and the multiplayer component I played a little bit of. I played it when it was beta, and I had a pretty fun time with it, but yeah, I don't know. I play Uncharted for the story and for the gameplay, and this was still good, it was still solid, but it just wasn't as good as 2, again, in my opinion. We'll hold off on that for a second. Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Awakening. A friend of mine lent me Dragon Age Origins for the 360, and I got through a quarter of the game, a half of the game, probably a quarter of the game. Kept meaning to pick it up, but I knew that I would want to get it for the PlayStation 3. I just have so many RPGs on the PlayStation 3 that I figured might as well. So, that's what I did. I played through Origins and finished that, the Stone Prisoner, which is the Golem, and... No, I'm sorry. Stone Prisoner isn't the Golem, but I played that one. I also played the Golems of whatever, which is the Golem. Enjoyable game. It was worth going through it all the way. I platinumed it, so it was that enjoyable for me. And yeah, Dragon Age Origins. I've been meaning to pick up the second one. I've seen a lot of used copies. Unfortunately, then you miss out on whatever you got with the new copy. So I'm going to pick it up new at some point. Despite hearing that the story wasn't as good, the combat wasn't as good, it still looked pretty enjoyable to me, so I figured it's worth a try. White Knight Chronicles International Edition. I'm mixed about this because it's one of those, it's like Xenosaga. Yeah, where the game finishes and they already know that there's going to be another one. So, the ending of this is just so crappy. There's no ending, basically. It's just there's going to be another battle, and you'd expect, okay, that's going to be part 2 of the game. Nope, you're done. You've put in your 12 hours or whatever. Story's over. So glad I picked it up for $20. But the online component of this is amazing. So it's 2012. This game came out in 2009. You don't have to finish the entire game anymore to go online, which is great, because otherwise you'd miss out. And I think that was great for me to do that because it allowed me to bump up my guild rank, which kind of allows you to equip additional items, and, you get a little bit of money, a little bit of experience. I was playing with people that were so high level that I wasn't really getting anything, but the online community for this game is still strong, and it's a whole heck of a lot of fun. I mean, there's really great people on here. The first time I played with this person, whomever, and, it's just really nice. You go in and you can emote, greetings, and people are greeting back, and they're doing, their little dances and what have you. It's just like a really fun community, and despite being disappointed with the story, I think I would still pick up White Knight Chronicles 2 just to see the community in a couple of years. Just great community around this game, which is just absolutely refreshing. Which ties into a game which doesn't have an online community and kind of requires it for most of the trophies that you need to get, and that's Front Mission Evolved. I have Front Mission 3, 4, and I think that's it. for the, I think, original PlayStation and the PlayStation 2. This was a game where people said the story sucks. It's a horrid story, and it is. But it is a lot of fun to play as a, I think they're Wanzers in this. Yep, pilot your Wanzer. Wanzer. It's a lot of fun to pilot a Wanzer in this game. One game that I picked up, which I'm not going to talk about, Armored Core 4, I thought was going to have to satisfy my my Wanzer robotic mech need, but Front Mission Evolved was actually pretty fun. Online component is absolutely dead, though. So unless I find some place where I can boost, I think I'll just have to be satisfied with the play. I think this was a game that I had picked up. Originally, I had ordered it from some vendor on Amazon, and it was like $5 or less. And once it was time, the next day, canceled. Nope, sorry, we're out of stock. Yeah, you're not out of stock. You listed the price wrong. So that was okay, because I waited a little bit, and I think it was Go Hastings, which is a company I like to see when I order things, just because they ship extremely fast. I just picked up a game which I haven't talked about, Mindjack by Square, which is, people say it's like the Third Birthday, except for nowhere near as good. AI is horrible, but it was $5 through Go Hastings, and I ordered it the 21st. I got it today, so 3 days for shipping over United States Postal Service. Amazing. But yeah, Front Mission Evolved. I'd probably say look for another mech type game. There's that one that's a PC game that just looks absolutely amazing, the name of which I'm forgetting. But I think I favorited some of their demo videos, free to play, so that's probably where you want to go, although depends on what your PC looks like, I guess. Otherwise, your Armored Core, I haven't played Armored Core 4 yet, but that seems like it would be pretty enjoyable, much longer than this one. This isn't a new game, but I picked up another copy of the original Shadow Hearts. It's $30, but it was odd because the day I was going into this, and it's Mega Media Exchange, which actually has a pretty good selection of PlayStation 2 games. It's one of the few stores in the area that still stocks PlayStation 2 games, keeps the original packaging and the manuals, unlike GameStop, which throws all that stuff away, which is unfortunate. But anyways, I walked in and I was thinking, if they've got Shadow Hearts, the original Shadow Hearts, I'm going to pick it up, no matter what. And they had it, so I picked it up. And this is one of those games that is on my list to go back and play, just because I have such fond memories of it. I want to test and verify that it is good. It is as good as I remember. Like Nier, which I don't have in here, but that was a game that I played on the PlayStation, no, the 360 first, because it was supposed to be graphically better. And I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a great game, so I picked it up for the other system. I think it was the PlayStation 3. Had a lot of fun with it. Just, Nier is an overlooked gem, in my opinion. It is kind of niche, but it's got amazing, amazing music. I picked up the CD through PlayAsia, which was the first time I've purchased it, but they're out of stock through Square, and the only way you can get it on iTunes is if you go through the UK store, which is a pain in the butt. So I paid the extra money to get a physical copy instead of, downloading it from the internet. And within the first couple days, I listened to both CDs. It was a 2 CD collection 4 times. It's just Nier's an amazing music. Lots of fun for gameplay. There's some where you're going back and forth, and yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. And you've got to finish the story. You go through the whole game once, and then you go through the second half 3 times. And then at the end of that, it wipes out all your data if you do all the endings. So I've technically played it, twice all the way through, and then 6 additional times from the halfway point on. And I'd go back and play it again, which you kind of have to do if you want to max out all the weapons. And I did it for Drakengard, I might as well do it for Nier. But anyways, Shadow Heart's another game that I just want to go through, make sure it's as good as I remember. And the beginning, very dark. It's not like Covenant, where they kind of loosen things up, and then From the New World, which was completely, zany, fun, colorful. Here's another game that, when I was actually picking up Nier for the second time, somebody at GameStop said, oh, have you looked at so-and-so, it's also really wacky and weird. And I really hadn't heard much about it. I'd heard of it slightly, but I didn't know anything about, trailers or what the game was going to be like. And I played it, and when I was playing it, 1 or 2 people that I'm friends with on PlayStation and in real life, they both said, oh, you're playing this game, amazing, way to go. And I had an absolute blast with Shadows of the Damned. This is an amazing game. The story is a little weird. There's some that's a little... No, it's a little weird because I expect much more backstory. So I think they could do a lot more with this if they haven't. I mean, I don't think that they've done anything with it, but just the fact, how the heck did he get his scar? You could make a whole game on as a prequel to this, and I think it would be a lot of fun. Part of me wishes that they don't, because you'd hate for them to ruin it, but amazing. Amazing, and I'm definitely going to keep my eye on Grasshopper and Pseudo51 for more of their stuff in the future. So I've got 4 games left, and they're all a series of game. Because I think everything else I'm just going to not talk about. And this is one that I picked up this summer, and then I picked up the other 3 extremely quickly thereafter. They've got another game coming out in March that I'm looking forward to, and that is the Yakuza series. I had a gift certificate, and then I think there was something like a sale, buy 3 and they're X% off or something. So at that point I picked up Yakuza 4. Didn't really know much about it, but it looked pretty enjoyable. I did some quick looks online, and people said, oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, it's interesting combat. Again, Sega. Played an hour of it, which I guess technically means that I played 30 minutes of it and watched 30 minutes of cutscenes, and was like, yes, this sounds great. So I looked a little bit online, found out about Yakuza 3, found out that it was a very enjoyable game. People highly recommended it, just amazing. The one downside was they said that a lot of the games, or a lot of the side, not missions, but the the minigames that were part of the Japanese release were cut for Yakuza 3. Yakuza 4, they didn't cut as much. I think they still cut some bits of it. So I hunted out a copy of Yakuza 3, stopped playing Yakuza 4 immediately, and said, alright, forget all this. Which is okay, because it starts out with a different character at the beginning. Picked up Yakuza 3, flew through it, in my opinion, or from what I remember, because it's just an amazing game. Just an amazing game. And I'm gonna forget her name, and that's so unfortunate. Shoot. The little girl. Like, everywhere. Everywhere I was looking when I was doing research into this, people said, oh, I love her, I love her, I love her. It's like, why do you know, what's the big appeal about this? After I played Yakuza 3, I cared about all the characters so much. And just an amazing game. And then Yakuza 4, it starts out, and you play each of the 3 other characters first. So by the time you get to him, it's like, wow, you know, overpowered, and it's just, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, I forget how far I was into Yakuza 3 that I started hunting out Yakuza and Yakuza 2. Was able to find them, luckily, for fairly good prices. I think Yakuza, I had to go through eBay to get a copy. But the game was complete, the game was in good shape, and yeah, it looks great, so very happy with it. So after I finish Yakuza 3, I finish Yakuza 4. My plan is to go through the series, Yakuza 1, Yakuza 2, Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, all the way through again. Just amazing game. I can't even really... And unfortunately I bought Yakuza 4 pre-owned, so I missed out on the unlockable costumes, battle modes. One of them's like a driving, you get to drive down in the parking lot. I think the price of this has gone down a little bit. I'm partially tempted to pick up a new copy and then trade in the pre-owned copy that I have so that I get those. But another part of me really doesn't care. So, I don't know. But anyways, Yakuza, that has been my great awakening over the past year. Just, how did I miss the Yakuza series? Amazing story. Amazing story. And then, yeah, Shadows of the Damned was a lot of fun. Definitely a surprise hit. Bayonetta was a lot of fun. I've already talked about that. Final Fantasy 13 I picked up for the Xbox 360. I did that instead of picking up Final Fantasy 13-2. I had pre-ordered it. I had pre-ordered the game guide the day before the pre-order, or the day before launch, I think. I canceled all of them. I was like, I played the demo. No, I played the demo. So when the demo came out, the following day I played the demo. And it just wasn't as much fun. I think they went from very focused, you've got to go down this path, which I didn't think was as bad as people said, but whatever. They went from very focused to huge open, you know, multiple dimensions, you're jumping through time, you know, Chrono Trigger is what it reminds me of, and I gave up with Chrono Trigger because it's way too long. You know, I'm a completionist, I want to go through all that stuff. And, so, Final Fantasy 13-2, unfortunately, I'm going to wait on and see what happens. I mentioned that there was another one that was coming out, Yakuza Dead Souls. Reviews of that seem to be pretty positive. You think, oh, why is there zombies? Classic Game Room, again, CGR, they did a interview. I think I just caught the first part of it with someone from Sega about Dead Souls. You know, it's a zombie game. You know, why are you jumping on this bandwagon? And... well, I don't think he actually asked that, but it sounds like they're still keeping the story alive. And I like the story of these so much that it's going to be worth giving it a try. Even though it's a, alternate storyline, I think it's still going to be cool. And at least with 3 and 4, they did a great job with the games. So definitely looking forward to that. The last bit, I guess, is that I got a Kinect, and that was my tax refund, one of my tax refund gifts to myself. I played the Gunstringer, which was a lot of fun, is a lot of fun. Still have to go through that. Problem is, Kinect versus playing a game on a controller. I usually go with game on a controller just because I'm getting home at, such and such time and I'm tired and I don't want to, jump all around. And then Fruit Ninja was a lot of fun. I haven't opened up Kinect Adventures yet. It's definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And the reason that I actually picked it up is because when I was up north a month ago, there was a GameStop that they had the Kinect. They had, plenty of room to play it. And my mom went up and she started playing bowling. She had a lot of fun with it. It's like, this is really, really good. It's not quite as bad as I was expecting. And there's a part of me that was going, I've got a Wii. I've played some really good games for the Wii, but I haven't used it as much as I'd want to. I picked up the Move. Again, haven't played it as much as I would have wanted to. Kinect. So the Wii is one way. The PlayStation Move adds upon that by having this glowing light that's tracked, so it's supposed to be better. You can recharge the Move versus the Wii that's just wasting batteries. Kinect, you plug in, and there's no controllers. How is this really going to work? And all the games are gimmicky, right? But I'm also getting older, put it on some weight. It's a fairly cheap way to get some exercise too. So I figured if it worked in my living room, then I'll give it a try. It works in my living room, and I got a great exercise. And the games, again, Gunstringer, Fruit Ninja are the two that I've played. Gunstringer is just a really enjoyable game. There's a little bit of quirks with it as far as shooting, because you throw your hand back. It doesn't always register for me, but it's still a lot of fun. And that's it. So that's what I've been doing for the last year. I've been cutting back kind of on how much I've been playing of different games. I've been focusing a lot more. I've definitely finished a lot more games, which is what I just said. And I'm really looking forward to what's coming out in the future. PlayStation Vita, the same weekend that I experienced the Kinect, I got to play one of those. Amazing screen on that. I played Escape Plan for a little bit, and $250 I'm not sure about, and then the cost of the memory cards is a little high, but I have been buying all electronic copies of my PlayStation Portable games, thinking ahead that I am going to get a Vita. At some point, I'm going to want to play my games on the Vita. So maybe at some point, but there we go. That's it. So I hope you've enjoyed, and thanks for watching this very long couple of videos.